Another picture-perfect weather night in downtown Cincinnati in this final homestand of the year, which began last night with the Reds' loss, continues Game 2 of this 4-game series. The Reds hosting the Chicago Cubs. And a pleasant good evening to you alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball here on Fox Sports Ohio. Tonight, the 2011 swan song, if you will, for Reds starter Mike Leake. Came out of college last year, right to the major leagues. They slowed down his innings from his prior year in college, and now the same thing here in his second year.
Well, I think the biggest issue here, Tom, is for the protection of Mike Leake. I think Mike Leake argued as much as possible to allow himself to finish with 4 more starts. But the innings are really piling up on the youngster because he's thrown the ball so well. His last start, an example of perfect of that. He had 1 hit, barely faced 1 over the minimum through 8 innings, but the 1 pitch with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth left the building, and that was not a good one.
Unfortunately, he was an out away from a complete game win. That tied it. The Reds did win that game, by the way, in extra innings. But look at the numbers this year on Leake. You know, with all the young pitchers that have taken a step backwards this year for the Reds, he clearly has made a big step forward.
He really has, Tom, and it comes in a sophomoric step, which a lot of pitchers normally step backwards in that sophomore year. But for him, he has stepped forward, and I would imagine come 2012, he will make a bigger step than he has even now.
We'll talk more about that throughout the rest of the night. Tonight, a milestone for Jay Bruce. His 500th career game. We'll look inside some of the numbers when we come back.
Authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, back-to-back days, just absolutely beautiful weather here in the Queen City. What about the remainder of tonight? Let's check in with our old buddy. We welcome back Tim Hedrick.
Good evening, everybody. Weak cold front pushing through the area tonight, and that means maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Now, most areas should remain dry, but there is that very slim chance. 83 down to 80, down to 75. It's that time of the year. You got to play for the love of the game. Give me a good one. Give me a good one. Now, that's the love of the game. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
Very nice. Meanwhile, Jay Bruce, his 500th career game tonight, Cowboy, and already has career highs this year in home runs and runs batted in.
Yeah, I think when you talk to Jay Bruce, he will tell you that those are good numbers, and he appreciates folks talking about his career numbers, especially the fact that he's gotten to 30 home runs. He would like to get to 100 RBIs this year. But he will flat out tell you in no uncertain terms that he is not a 265 hitter. He feels like he is much better than that in the long run. He feels like he's still learning, and he wants to get better, and he gets frustrated sometimes when things happen that he did not quite plan for. He wants to be better than what the numbers you see right now. That's a good thing.
All right, Mike Lee getting the ball for the final time in his 2011 year. He'll deliver the game's first pitch when we come back.
Farm for auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state. By your local Ford dealer. Ford. Drive one. By the Regional Tourism Network. Book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time.
Just about set to go here at Great American Ballpark for Game 2 of this 4-game series between a pair of division rivals and Mike Quaddy's starting lineup. That's Starlin Castro, followed by Darwin Barney and Aramis Ramirez. Carlos Pena the night off last night back in there, along with Brian LaHare, nearly 30-year-old rookie. Alfonso Soriano out in left field, a ladder third of Marlon Byrd, Giovanni Soto, and the former Red Ryan Dempster. And Mike Leake looking for win number 12 in his final start of this season.
Almost the exact same lineup that Mike Leake carried the one-hit shutout into the ninth inning, or 2 outs into the ninth inning, except for LaHare. He is in the lineup for a few more than one at bat.
There's ball one to Starlin Castro, and we're underway. It was a one-hit shutout into the ninth inning. In fact, Leake in that ninth inning retired the first 2 batters. But this guy reached on an infield hit, and then the pinch hitter Brian LaHare followed with a game-tying home run. Leake in that game did not allow a Cub runner to reach second base until Castro advanced on defensive indifference in that 9th inning. 2-0 to the Cubs shortstop. Fouled out of play.
I mean, even by the time that Castro had the little dribbler down the third baseline, Leake had only faced one over the minimum, and that was catcher's interference. And that was close. Could have gone either way.
Talked about Castro last night at just 21 years young, trying to become the youngest National League player ever to lead the league in hits. And Leake walks in to begin the game. That's exactly what happened last night. Castro walked and scored the first of 3 runs in the opening inning against Dontrell Willis. Reds defense brought to you by Ford. Again, Alonso and Bruce on the corner. Stubbs back in there in center. Francisco, the 502-foot home run in the game here last night. And again, the rookie Mesoraco behind the plate. Keep an eye on Starlin Castro, 21 steals, and he's been thrown out 7 times. Here's Darwin Barney. Strike 1.
And also keep an eye on the arm of Devin Mesoraco. He has got a cannon holstered into that right shoulder. Once he gets his foot mechanics down behind the home plate, there's not going to be too many folks stealing.
And based on what we've heard and what we have seen, we know that Mesoraco will address whatever shortcomings he might have probably about 2 or 3 days right after this season is over. 1-1 to Barney.
Not afraid to work, that's for sure.
Same thing with Alonso.
I agree.
I mean, Yonder Alonso, by all accounts, is a guy that's going to work as hard as anybody around to get better at whatever it is they ask him to do.
Right. And I think there are a lot of young players on this roster that you're having an opportunity to see as fans that fit that category, Tom. And some of them are not even out there today.
Well, they start the runner, and Barney chased the pitch up and in to protect that runner, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, that was definitely a hit and run. Castro was looking in the whole time. When it's a straight steal, the runner is looking dead at second base until about halfway down, and then he'll look back towards home plate to see the ball being put in play. When it's a hit and run, the base runner looks in a lot earlier.
Foul ball.
The one thing that I have gotten used to with watching Mike Leake, Tom, he is a slow starter. It takes him a little bit to get the feel not only of the mound that he's on, get the feel of his release point, different from where he warmed up before the ball game, and also the zone of the umpire.
Boy, it seems like Barney, when he's in this ballpark, and you just saw the numbers now, 12 for 25. For whatever reason, the 6 games and now 1 at bat he is in here, he appears to be extremely comfortable.
Barney, I believe, is trying to hit behind the runner regardless of the situation there. That was one of the reasons Leake was pitching him inside so early in the count. But he finally gets a ball up and out over the zone, and he puts it right exactly where he wanted to, in between the first and second baseman.
So the game starts tonight exactly the way it did last night. A walk and a hit. And now Aramis Ramirez in the game last night with 2 on and nobody out. He doubled in the game's first run. This ball driven into right center field, but Bruce will get it. Castro tagging up and will advance on to third.
Get that ball right off the end of the bat, and you could see Ramirez, who is an RBI machine, looking in or looking out at Mike Leake as he was coming back in, wondering what that pitch was. It was a first pitch changeup.
So that'll bring up the Cub first baseman, Carlos Pena. Much was made about when Pena signed with the Cubs during the offseason, a one-year deal. And he got off to such a terrible start, but his power numbers have certainly come around. You see 5 of his 27 home runs have come against Cincinnati pitching, and from what I can recall, just about every one of them were big home runs.
He's hit them at crucial times in the ball game.
They're on the corners, 1 out.
Obviously, Mike Leake here is looking for somewhat of a ground ball where he can let his infielders turn a double play. And the man that ruined his one-hit shutout is standing on deck.
It's Brian LaHair, who made his Cub debut September the 4th and has a hit in all 7 games in which he has played so far. 2-0 on Pena. Runners on the corners and a swing and a miss. Pulled a string on him there. Pena looking for a fastball and didn't get it.
I thought Leake worked very well with Mesoraco in their last ball game together, which was this game here against the Cubs, because Leake, regardless of who the catcher is, he's going to call his own game, to call his own location.
For as soon as you put a number like that up that we saw a moment ago on Pena, you know, he'll probably drive a double into the gap. But that is mind-boggling. A guy batting in the middle of the lineup that has almost 80 RBIs at this point in the year and is hitting a .183 with runners in scoring position.
Well, it also shows you how much that Starlin Castro, the number 2 hitter for the most part, has been Darwin Barney, and Aramis Ramirez have been on base.
Struck him out. He went around, and that's a second out of the inning, and a big second out for Mike Leake with 1 more to go.
A breaking ball. Should I swing? No, I probably shouldn't have. I thought it was a fastball. The only pitch that Pena saw on that side of the plate, and he was looking to hit that one in the river and couldn't stop. Now this is the out that Mike Leake's been thinking about for a week.
What a monster minor league season it was for LaHair. This one hit right on the screws and able to leap back after nearly overrunning it as Drew Stubbs, and that'll end the inning. Boy, was that ball stung. Whew. Reds coming up. top of the first inning. Let's take a look at Dusty Baker's starting lineup. Brandon Phillips, Edgar Renteria, Joey Votto to start it, Jay Bruce in right, Yonder in left, Bruce Stubbs in center. A ladder third of Juan Francisco, Devin Mesoraco, and Mike Leake on the mound. And a one-time Red who's put together a mighty fine career on the mound for the Cubbies, trying to even his record after a woeful start this year. That's Ryan Dempster.
Well, this has not been the perfect year for Ryan Dempster, not the one that I think he would have drawn up as the season began. But they're not always the way you write them up. Sometimes you just have to fight through a season that is a tough one. And for Ryan Dempster, this has been TOUG with a capital H. Tough.
Well, Brandon Phillips to lead it off. 3 points shy of a 300 batting average. He looks at a ball. Our Farmers Insurance report card on Brandon Phillips. Was he fit in nicely to that leadoff role? You go back to when he went there in the middle of August. He has the highest batting average among all leadoff batters in Major League Baseball, second only to Jacoby Ellsbury in on base percentage. And Ellsbury's having an MVP-like year for Boston.
I think with Brandon Phillips, I think that he knew in his own gut that he should have been in the #1 spot even earlier than when Dusty went to him, or when he did actually go to Dusty and say, you should put me in the #1 spot to help this club. But Brandon had been hitting in the 4th spot. He'd been hitting in the 2nd spot. He was doing whatever he could to help the club. But it was obvious last year that this club got off to a huge jump when they moved him to the #1 spot. His numbers weren't so phenomenal, but the club sure were. And I'll say this, Tom, if Brandon Phillips is on base and you're a pitcher on the mound, he bothers you. He bothers you a lot. He dances out there, claps his hands, makes noises.
That ball driven hard into deep right center field, and Phillips is homered for the 3rd time in the last 2 nights.
He does that.
A pair of home runs here last night for Brandon. A 2-run homer to left in the 2nd. A solo shot in the 5th. And now home run number 15 to lead off the game tonight.
That may be the first time Brandon Phillips has ever led off the game, I think, with a home run. I could be wrong, but I think I am correct there. That's a heck of a way to start it. I know Stubbs has done that a few times, but I don't believe Phillips has.
But we will check it out. That ball shot down the line. That's a fair ball off the bat of Edgar Renteria. So after a home run by Phillips, Edgar follows with an extra base hit, a double. You are correct about that, Cowboy. Well, you're on top of your game. First time he's ever led off with a game with a home run.
Really stays back. Last possible second, and then just drops the head on that baby. That ball's hit in right center. And remember when he first came over to this club, he was more of a pull hitter, trying to hit the ball into the upper deck in left field, trying to prove himself as a hitter. Once he went to that swing, I mean, it was almost overnight. I mean, you can remember he started slapping the ball that way, and all of us were wondering, what is he doing? Well, he has turned out to be some kind of just a pain for any pitcher, for that matter.
Guy's just a ball player.
There's not much that he can't do.
That's exactly right.
He has proven that on the baseball field. He's hit 4th for this club. He's hit 1st. Home run, stolen bases, Gold Glove, second baseman.
You know, everybody's making a big deal about his contract, and you know, it's not my money, so I'm not going to dare tell anybody how to go out and spend their money. I don't want anybody telling me how to spend my money. But I mean, it's almost a 100% fact that he will be back next year. The Reds have an option on Brandon Phillips, and they figure to pick it up to make sure he's their everyday second baseman, obviously, again next year. Beyond that, you wait and see.
I think Brandon Phillips wants to play in Cincinnati.
Well, I don't think there's any debate about that. 3 in a row have reached the start against Ryan Dempster. A home run, a walk, and follows the double from Renteria, and here comes Jay Bruce.
Well, this is normally how you get to Ryan Dempster. You get him early, you get him hard early in the game, and once he settles in, he's going to shut you down. But you get as many as you possibly can in the first inning or two, the first couple of times through the first time through the order.
Strike one to Jay Bruce. Couple of singles along with a walk in a game last night for Jay. He has 2 on with nobody out. Reds trying to add to a 1-0 first inning lead. And a roller foul, and Dempster quickly in front, 0-2.
Gave him a breaking ball in, and then that pitch there was a changeup down and away. He's trying to get Bruce to roll over into a double play. Now he'll come back with either that change-up, split finger type pitch that he uses, or that backdoor breaking ball. He's trying to get Jay to pull off the ball and hit a ground ball to the right side.
Pulled it to the right side, but too far. Still 0-2.
And those are the types of things that Jay is trying to figure out on his own. What pitchers are trying to do to him so he can make the adjustments from pitch to pitch versus game to game and have to go back in and look at tape. Well, he was trying to do this to me at this certain at bat. You need to make the adjustment right here and right now versus doing it tomorrow when you're looking at tape for the next time you face a guy like Dempster.
Renteria and Votto aboard, nobody out, and Bruce has gone on strikes for the first out in the inning. Chicago defensively presented by Ford. Bird flanked by Soriano and LaHare in the outfield. Castro and Barney up the middle. Ramirez and Pena on the corners. And a battery of Dempster and Giovanni Soto. Here comes Yonder Alonso with 2 on and 1 out. A rare quiet night for Alonso last night.
It was, wasn't it?
Went 0 for 4, drew a walk, scored a run.
This is why he is hitting in the number 5 spot, because he is able to hit with 2 strikes. He doesn't panic with runners in scoring position. And for the most part, he stays out of the double play. But the object here is to drive in Renteria from second.
Yonder ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Look at those numbers. We just talked about it. Calm, cool up there at the plate, whether there's nobody on or whether they're loaded.
And it doesn't matter if it's a right-hander or a left-hander. We saw last night a pretty tough left-hander in Gaub that came into the ball game, and he ended up walking Alonso.
After he had retired Votto and Bruce the inning before.
With some strikeout material.
Alonso would figure to be a really good 3-0 hitter if he likes swinging 3-0. Some guys just don't like doing it, and they can be some of the greatest hitters in the history of baseball.
I agree.
But he figures to be a good 3-0 hitter if he likes it because of his eye and pitch recognition. And he's tardy on a 3-0 pitch. And it's in the air, and somehow, some way, it bounces in between Castro and Soriano.
That is a Sorianoism. If you're the Chicago Cubs and that ball does not get caught, that's not the shortstop's fault. It's not the third baseman's fault. It's the fact that Soriano did not take charge. And now you're giving a dangerous hitter a hitter's count at 3-1. You could have put away the second out of the inning right there if Soriano takes charge instead of looking at the two guys that were running towards him.
3-1 to Alonso. And now 3-2. Starting to say that 3-0 result was not a good result for a 3-0 swing. Now, if you're going to swing 3-0,
it's got to be something that you're going to powder keg.
Absolutely. Even if you pull it foul and you pull it hard. So now he'll shorten up on the bat a little bit. We've seen him do that in 2 strike counts. And that ball's in the air to left center. It'll be out number 2. So the inning began with a home run by Phillips. Renteria doubled. Votto walked. But Dempster struck out Bruce. He gets Alonso on a fly ball to center. And now try and end this inning 1-0 the score by retiring Drew Stubbs.
Well, that's where you really need your 4-hole hitter to move, at least move the runners up a base at worst case scenario, not strike out. That helps the pitcher way too much. Because then you put Alonso in a position to where if he hits the ball on the ground, it's a very much a potential for a double play.
And you negate the fact that if he hits it in the air, it would have been a sac fly RBI.
Correct.
Well, you hope 2011 is a season that Drew Stubbs can learn a lot about and learn a lot about himself, because these numbers for Drew Stubbs this year are not going to be anywhere near where most of us thought they would, especially, I mean, forget coming into the year, but especially when you consider where he was at the end of April. I mean, by the end of the first week of May, you're talking about a guy that had 7 home runs. He has 15 now. And he had over 20 runs batted in. He has 42 now.
Well, you and I had talked about this.
I mean, look at those numbers. The final 2.5 months, he has driven in 10 runs, playing virtually every day. And so you just hope that this can be a learning year for Stubbs. And you know he'll go out and work hard. I mean, there's no debate about that. He's a great kid, wants to be a great player.
And there are not many guys in that locker room that I know of that are not big time workers. I mean, they just need the instruction on how to work and what to do to get better.
Inning is over. Leadoff home run by Brandon. 1-0. by Oak and Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Francisco nearly injured somebody driving along Mering Way last night. This thing looks like a bird. Just soaring and soaring. Traveling further and further and further. Second longest home run in the history of this ballpark. 502 feet. Alfonso Soriano, a quick out to begin the second inning. Reds lead 1-0.
Speaking of Francisco, he's the one that makes the catch, right as we're talking about his home run from last night.
We had it drawn up that way. We had an agreement with Alfonso Soriano to begin the inning.
To pop it up to third.
Yeah. So, or ground out. We said either way.
Either one, just to get him on the camera.
Or strike out, then they throw it around the horn, and we just follow the throw to Francisco.
3 in a row.
Yeah. And now Marlon Byrd. You know, you really wonder where Marlon Byrd is right now in terms of, looking ahead down the road in his career. Many of you may remember back in May during interleague play when the Cubs were playing in Fenway Park against Boston. He got hit by a pitch below his left eye. Multiple facial fractures occurred. He missed nearly 2 months and then came back in July. Now, we don't see him play every day, but, Cowboy, we have. There's a rocket right back to the mound, and Leake able to make the catch. He's not hit a lot of balls like that, at least in the game since we've seen him since coming off the disabled list. You agree with that?
I totally agree. I think that is one thing that he is really, really working with, not only with his swing and with his physical attributes, but also in his head, just to be thinking, how do you overcome getting hit in the face? I don't know that you ever get past that.
Saw the reaction there by Kevin Youkilis. I mean, it was one of the it was probably the worst single moment that we've had in baseball this year, where you truly feared for a player's overall health and long-term health.
It was not good.
Leake thought it was strike 3. He was walking off the mound, and they appealed, and Gary Darling says Giovanni Soto held up. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I'm not sure that Gary was watching there, because it looked like he went all the way around plus some. That's around.
Well,
so that
took care of that. Crisp second inning for Mr. Leake. Reds lead 1-0.
controversy. Pete Rose is one of baseball fans' greatest moral debates. 41-92 is the story of a Rose that is often forgotten. The crowning of the hit king tonight after Reds Live right here on Fox Sports Ohio.
Alrighty, Reds coming about here in the bottom of the second inning with a 1-0 lead. They'll play a night game tomorrow, another night game on Thursday. Look at that little one. Boy, it's a late night. And you know Mama wishes she could stay there till the end of time. Or maybe get a 5-minute break every now and again.
I was going to say. Get a little nap.
Here's Juan Francisco, 7-8-9 in the batting order against Ryan Dempster. Strike one to Francisco.
This is the kind of lineup that you would like to run out in 2012, where your number 7-hole hitter can hit the ball 502 feet on a regular basis. That would make for an awfully strong offense.
Got jammed with that pitch, fouled it back out of play, and Dempster in front of Francisco at 1-2. You brought up last night, and we saw Rodrigo Lopez climb the ladder with Francisco. Just like that, trying to get him to chase. Actually, by that time, I beg your pardon, it was still Lopez. He got him in the 6th inning on a high fastball.
And that's just one of those types of adjustments that Francisco's going to have to make, because he's going to see that pitch, and the more that he sees it, the less that he will coil or be aggressive towards that pitch. You can't hit that ball anywhere except straight up for an out or miss it.
Juan caught on strikes. That's 3 of them in the game for Dempster. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot up to $54 million. Brought to you by the Ohio Lottery. You can't win if you don't play. Play today. Drawing at 11 p.m. Another rookie, Devin Mesoraco. He takes high, but it's a called strike by the home plate umpire, Al Porter. Mesoraco had a couple of hits last night, including his first major league home run. Also added a double. This one popped up to the right side for Darwin Barney. 2 gone.
You would think that with Mike Leake in the lineup as not only the pitcher but also as a batter, that it would make this lineup even stronger at the bottom of the order, because this kid can flat hit.
So the numbers on Leake: 11 hits and 51 at bats. It's got to be rather odd for Leake 2 years in a row now. I mean, you go your entire baseball life, and I'm talking about, ever since you first started playing, and there's probably very little doubt that Leake is such a good athlete. Was always a good hitter growing up out in California. He even played shortstop, one of the better hitters on his college team at Arizona State. But you got to shut your season down before it's over.
Right.
And here now, for the first time since he's been playing baseball, 2 years in a row, he has to shut down his team's season, his individual season, before his team season is over.
Well, he's got to understand that there is life past the age of 23.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: when you're 23 and you're playing in the big leagues, you're living your dream. You want to live your dream. You want to keep right on going.
They went around, that'll end the inning. So a perfect second for Dempster. Go to the third. Cubs trail the Reds 1-0.
That Brian and the organization came up with. You know, I mean, much the same like I think Washington did with Zimmerman. You know, with some of the young guys to try to, you know, preserve them. Even though, like you said, he's getting better. It's just a situation of trying to you know, keep him right for the future.
Geico Direct quote from manager Dusty Baker on the topic we were talking about right before we went to break. Tonight, the final start of the year for Mike Leake.
Sometimes you have to have your manager and your general manager, sometimes the owner of your ball club, let you know what is best for you. I fell victim to that, and I was a whole lot older than he was. After coming back from surgery here in 1997, I wanted to play the following year in '98.
Dempster thrown out by the third baseman Francisco to begin the third inning.
Go out on rehab. Got all bent out of shape because I didn't want to ride buses and be pitching in the minor leagues. I thought I was ready to go. I'm getting all these minor league guys out, A-ball guys. I'm ready to go. Bring me up. I wasn't even close to being ready, and here I am in the big leagues, getting hammered.
Starlin Castro led off the game with a walk. Went to second on a base hit by Barney. That's the way the Cubs' first inning began. And then after a fly ball by Ramirez got Castro down to third with only one out, Leake got down to business. Struck out Carlos Pena, got LaHair on a liner to center. And after a perfect second inning has retired the pitcher to begin the third. And that's a broken bat roller right at the shore-handed Phillips. 2 gone.
Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting products for your menu. Inspired solutions, better results. JTM.
How frequently, Cowboys, since you got back, you've only been back a couple of days, how frequently have you been over to UDF?
Well, a lot.
You even brought your UDF cup
Yeah.
to the ballpark here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't have 8 scoops in it.
What? That's the big boy. But it's a different color when they use.
Yeah, it has the stripes on the outside.
Yeah. But that's the same size. That's the 32 ounce.
You know, the manager from the UDF over in our neighborhood made that picture for you.
Yes, he did.
And
it's hanging in the radio booth.
It is, of what 8 scoops in a cup look like. That one blasted down the left field line off the bat of Darwin Barney. He's a perfect 2 for 2. Well, I don't know, whatever it is, the scouting report the Reds have on Barney, they might want to burn it. As he comes in hitting in the 270s, and he is just wearing out Reds pitching.
They pitched him inside his last time up, and he kept fouling those pitches off. And then they finally went up and away on it. Was a mistake pitch when it was up and away, and he hit the ball into right field. This time he jumps on the very first fastball he sees. Guy hits the fastball that good, must not be a very good breaking ball hitter.
So 1-0 lead for the Reds. Tying run out at second base, and here's the Cubs' best run producer for a long time, Aramis Ramirez, a free agent at the end of this year. He got off to such a terrible start following an injury-plagued and unproductive 2010 that many felt there was no chance they were bringing him back. And now you got to wonder. Backhanding Renteria. Good strong throw, and it's in time to get Ramirez to retire the side. A hit a man left, middle of the third, and the Reds still lead 1-0. Who will be the innings pitched leader for the Reds looking ahead to 2012? And we're putting 4 names up there. Bronson Arroyo, Mike Leake, Johnny Cueto, Homer Bailey. Text 1, 2, 3, or 4 to 37664. We always remind you message and data rights do apply.
That's a tough call.
Even in a down year, and clearly it's been a rough year for Bronson Arroyo, he still leads the team in innings pitched. Of course, Cueto missed a month. Bailey missed a month.
Plus some.
Both beginning the year on the disabled list. And, of course, Homer had a trip back to the minor leagues.
Right.
Leake has been down to the minor leagues, not very long.
I have a feeling that that young man right there is going to give you a run for your money in 200 innings. The thing about Mike Leake is he does average 6 innings pitched over the long haul. But what you see out of him is he can get to 7 or 8 innings with 75 pitches, whereas some of the other guys on that list, especially Johnny Cueto, has a difficult time because he strikes out so many batters. That's been one of the things in the past that kept him from getting deep into games, and that's why he's been so good this year. Is he's pitched more to contact instead of the strikeout.
Phillips, after homering leading off the game, strikes out, and that's now 5 of them for Ryan Dempster.
That's how you get him early.
Well, the Reds had a chance to inflict certainly a lot more damage on Dempster than wound up occurring in that first inning. Phillips led off the game with a home run. Renteria doubled down the right field line. Votto walked. But then Dempster took care of Bruce, Alonso, and Stubbs to keep it where we stand here in the third. 1-0. Renteria, perfect night.
If it can't be Brandon Phillips, your leadoff hitter, then you definitely want it to be your 2-hole hitter that gets on ahead of Joey Votto. The more times that you have runners on base when this cat comes to the plate, you got a chance to score mega runs, especially the way he's putting up the home run ball here lately.
Asking ye shall receive. We take a look at tonight's Powerade IN4 power rankings. You go back to mid-August, and Votto, along with Ian Kinsler of the Texas Rangers, share the major league lead with 11 home runs.
You got numbers like that, you're in scoring position as soon as you hit first base.
I think Kinsler's a nice player, boy. He's a guy that oftentimes gets lost, much like Michael Young did for a long time, inside a lot of bruisers up and down that Texas batting order. But man, that Kinsler can play. There's a double play, and that'll end the third inning. So we move on to the fourth, where the Reds lead Dempster and the Cubs 1-0.
Proudly serving America's restaurants, schools, retailers, and our military around the world. JTM Food Group. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit viatoyota.com. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Moneyball, starring Brad Pitt, in theaters September 23rd, rated PG-13.
Beautiful night in the Queen City. We played 3 1-run 3 hits for the Reds. No runs, 2 hits for Chicago. The big shift put on, and he bangs it right through that shift by a diving Joey Votto. That's a base hit for Pena to start the Cubs' 4th inning.
That ball ran out just a little bit more over the plate than I think Mike Leake wanted it to. Looked like Joey dove over the top of that ball.
You could tell he was upset that he didn't get it.
Of course, when you're at third and first and they hit him like that, it's just reaction. You just hope that you react the right and correct way.
So now LaHare, who hit a bullet. It was run down by Drew Stubbs to end the Chicago 1st inning.
He has proven to me that he can hit the fastball, and maybe we should try something else.
Well, this should be a double play ball here. And it is. Phillips to Renteria on the bottom. Time now for our AT&T trivia question. Who officially hit the longest home run ever recorded at Old Riverfront Stadium? We'll give you a little while to think about that. Alfonso Soriano popped up to Juan Francisco on the first pitch of his only at bat leading off the 2nd inning.
We were talking about different pitchers on the future Red staff and how many innings that they could possibly throw, or who could throw the most. Well, in order to get deep into the ball game, you either have to have a rubber arm, which few do, or you have to keep your pitch count down. And right now, that was the 43rd pitch for Mike Leake here in the 4th inning. That is keeping your pitch count down.
There's a walk to Soriano, so a brief mental lapse perhaps there for Leake. Soriano's a hard guy to walk. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, you can chat with our Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy. It's on FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com.
You look at the average pitches per inning for all 4 of those pitchers that we showed you earlier, Cueto, Leake, Arroyo, and Bailey, all just a tad more than 15 an inning. And that's counting good games and bad games. National League average 60. A little more than that.
For a fastball up and in right by Marlon Byrd. That one at 91 miles per hour on the radar gun, and Leake ahead 0-2.
I think folks sometimes forget that Mike Leake can run it up there if he wants to.
Well, he felt like that was his biggest problem in spring training this year, you may remember, because he had a hard time getting anybody out.
Throwing too hard.
And, you know, regularly on the scouts' radar guns, when we were sitting back behind home plate and watching Leake pitch in games, he was throwing 92, 93 miles an hour.
That is too hard for him. That's not pitching for Mike Leake. That's throwing. And what Jay Bruce does when he corks one into the infield is throwing. And that usually doesn't get anybody out. When you're moving the ball around the plate, you start it off and run it back to the plate, or you cut it from one side to the other. That's more along the lines of pitching and changing speeds.
1-2 on Marlon Byrd. And we'll do it again. Byrd hit a liner right back to Leake in the second inning.
And you almost have to look at pitch counts this day and age, because very few managers are.
Phillips will get to it, but no chance to get Byrd. So that walk to Soriano has all of a sudden extended this inning much longer than Leake would have liked after getting the double play ball off the bat of LaHare.
Few managers want to go over the 100-inning mark, and you can see Votto get to the ball, couldn't quite glove it, and Phillips actually did glove it, but had no place to throw it. He was turned the wrong way. It was one of those seeing eye singles.
Well, the inning began with a single by Pena. LaHare bounced into a double play. But then the walk to Soriano, followed by an infield hit from Byrd, and here's Giovanni Soto.
I think this was a point for Mike Leake. You make a couple of good pitches, and you make the toughest pitches you can against a guy like Soto. But ultimately, if you have to, you're going to have to face Ryan Dempster with the bases loaded.
Well, he made that pitch, Francisco, the short way, and that'll take care of Chicago in the fourth inning. Couple of hits and a walk, but no damage done. Reds still cling to that 1-0 lead. We'll win that beautiful new Tundra on display each and every day here at Great American Ballpark. David, good luck. Brandon Phillips led off the game with a home run. That's the only run for either team through the front 3.5 innings of play. Ryan Dempster and Mike Leake going toe-to-toe here tonight. Dempster's only allowed one base runner. That was a 1-out single in the 3rd inning to Renteria. Since he allowed the first 3 batters of the game to reach base. The home run by Phillips, a double to Renteria, a walk to Votto. Retired 7 in a row, then got a double play ball off the bat of Votto following the Edgar single. So Jay Bruce, who struck out his first time up, bats to lead off the 4th.
Strikeout pitch for Jay the last time up, a changeup, and they were in back-to-back fashion. Gives him the fastball up and out of the zone. He's almost pitched in the same exact pitch sequence. Should be a changeup here. Breaking ball in.
Got him swinging again at a pitch in the dirt.
Another changeup. Struck him out with a changeup the first time and got him again with it here.
All right, time to answer our AT&T trivia question. Who officially hit the longest home run at the old Riverfront Stadium? Not a surprise. Mark McGwire back in 2000, 473 feet. That was a chip shot for him. Of course, a legendary story, unofficially speaking. Ernie Lombardi back at Old Crosley Field clubbed a home run that wound up on a moving truck and apparently it went 30 miles down the road. That would constitute the longest home run in big league history, wouldn't it?
History. Exactly. Never actually hit the ground.
And what a hitter he was, Ernie Lombardi. Of course, he played before, a lot of us, a lot of you at home were even born. When you go back and you look inside the Reds record books and some of the numbers that he put up in his career, truly one of the all-time great Cincinnati Reds players. That went off the end of the bat. This is going to fall in, a base hit. So a little squibber out there by Alonso.
Alonso swung at it as though it was a fastball. You see the look on his face. He thought it was a fastball when he swung at it and hit it right off the end of the bat. An 81-mile-an-hour changeup. Bat dies a hero.
So now Drew Stubbs, he struck out swinging, stranding 2, ending the 1st inning. Keep you up to date all night long. Really the only 3 races truly left in all of Major League Baseball. The 2 wild card races over in the American League with Boston and Tampa Bay. National League, Atlanta and St. Louis. St. Louis missing a golden chance last night, blowing a late 8th inning lead. Would have gained another game. As Atlanta lost yet again, that should be a 3.5 game spread. We take a look at the Honda standings. When you look at the divisional races, they're all but over, especially the shocker out west, Arizona over the defending world champions, but 4.5 the spread in the wild card. And with 2 weeks left to go, 2 weeks officially from tomorrow, if you're the Cardinals or anybody chasing somebody, you just can't miss chances.
No, they played good baseball since the 25th of August, they were 10.5 back. The Cardinals were of Atlanta, and Cards have gone 10-5. Braves have gone, the Braves have gone 5-10. So they've made up 5 games, but still got a little ways to go.
Over in the American League, Tim Wakefield tonight is gunning for his 200th win.
How about that?
It's the 8th start he's made, trying to get off of 199. That's the most starts for any pitcher to be stuck at 199 wins. You look over in the American League, I suppose New York and Boston, that still clarifies as a race, although it's much tighter in the wild card. Tampa Bay 3 back, and certainly a race out west where the Angels missed a chance to gain ground last night, 3 behind the Rangers. A little bit sloppy there by Castro, and it cost him a chance for a double play.
That ball hit right on the cut of the grass, and Castro was not prepared for it, and because of that, his throw was almost over the head of Darwin Barney.
Everybody gets so fancy these days, and you know, you go out and you try to teach your kids, look, and the example I always use is Scott Rowland.
Catch the ball with 2 hands.
Catch the ball and plant your feet, set your body, and throw the ball. And right there, Castro, you know, if he makes a play, everybody says, boy, it's pretty slick. He did not have to flip the ball with his glove. That's why it wound up sitting in the air for so long to Darwin Barney. He's not picking on it. It's just that it's kind of the state of so many players in the game right now.
Well, that's one of the reasons that he has 20+ errors. You can see the ball hit on the cut of the grass there and stay down. He could have very easily shuffled that ball over with his bare hand, and he did not do that.
I don't know if they turn the double play, but I know one thing. That is as close as it's going to get for a guy like Stubbs, because he hit the ball right at the shortstop.
Right.
So if you ever do have a chance, it would be on a ball hit just like that.
But the comments from those that see Starlin play every day have not been positive about his defense. He makes fantastic plays that make you think, wow, this guy could really be something. But then you get a routine play like that, and he tries to turn it into something, you know, that they're going to show on TV for the rest of your life. Not every play is a storybook play. That number right there, that is ridiculous. That kid is way too good to make 27 errors.
And boy, is he good.
He is good.
Man, oh man, is he blessed with this extraordinary talent.
He is very good. He has tremendous hands. He has great quickness, a phenomenal arm. He's been blessed with great eyes and great hand-eye coordination to hit the baseball. But to make 27 errors, that is a lack of concentration and just being sloppy.
There's 2 at-bats in a row now where you're seeing Dempster trying to get Francisco to chase fastballs up in a strike zone. You may remember Dempster got ahead of him the first time, 1-2, threw fastballs up and away, 2 in a row to run it full. Then he came in there with a fastball and he just beat him with it. Well, now it's 3-1. Francisco looking for something to hammer here. Runner on the go, and it's grounded foul.
That one, Francisco got out just a little bit ahead of the fastball. Or either that or it had a little bit of sink to it. That's what makes it so difficult to hit the baseball, and especially hit it in the manner that Francisco does sometimes, because the ball, even when you throw it straight, it still has some type of movement to it. And to square it up with a round bat, hit it that far, talented.
Straight up in the air. Waiting and waiting and waiting is Barney, and that'll retire the side. Still 1-0 game. We go to the 5th at Great American Ballpark. Reds live on Fox Sports Ohio. Don't forget, this Saturday we'll have a special hour-long Reds Live in order to bring you all the Johnny Bench ceremonies that will take place before the game, including the statue unveiling in its entirety. It'll get underway at 6 o'clock this Saturday right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. That'll be a big night. We understand there are some tickets available for that game. That'll be a 7 o'clock game on Saturday night. Obviously, come down here early and check out the new statue they'll unveil over by the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. Come inside. Johnny Bench is going to throw out the first pitch that night. Many of his former teammates from the Big Red Machine will be here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Johnny Lee Bench. His number, of course, retired in Reds franchise history, old number 5.
Old boy can play a little bit, couldn't he?
Oh, boy. Malik falls behind the pitcher 3-0 to begin this 5th inning in a 1-0 ball game. Then pounds a strike. 3-1 to Dempster, who struck out, or I beg your pardon, he bounced out his first time up. A little grounder down to the third baseman Francisco. The count is full. Toronto leads Boston 5-4. Baltimore a 1-0 lead over Tampa Bay. There's a 2-hopper to Brandon. 1 out. Oh, wait a minute. Are they saying that's a foul ball? I'm not sure what's going on here.
Catcher's interference again.
It is indeed catcher's interference called on Devin Mesoraco. So the runner is safe at first base. Wow. That can't happen.
No, not twice in this short a period of time, because it happened to him in the league's last start against the same ball club. That's how you learn. He's going to have to back up a little bit, or he's going to have to keep that elbow bent.
Castro lifts a fly ball to straightaway center. Lots of room out that way for Drew Stubbs. 1 out. Well, if you're interested in 2012 season tickets, we know many of you are. New this year is a 2012 season ticket test drive. You make a deposit on a new season ticket plan by this Thursday, and you get 5 free tickets to any 5 remaining home games this year. You can test drive 5 different seat locations. For more information, it's a great deal. Visit Reds.com/tickets. So if you're wondering what might be a good seat, I want to check out, in 5 different price ranges. And every time I bring my kids down to the ballpark, during the summer we get a day game. One day I'll bring my daughter down, another day bring my son down if I'm not working. And we'll go sit in all kinds of different sections of the ballpark. Upper deck, right field bleachers, left field bleachers, upper deck and left field, upper deck down the left field line. There are a lot of great seats in this ballpark.
Well, that's what people miss because they don't know that. Everybody thinks that you have to sit right behind the dugout or right behind home plate. Well, you're talking about a whole different view, just depending on where your seats are down the lines or when you're looking at the game from up above. It is absolutely incredible.
I got to tell you, right there where you see like the hot H2O yellow sign there, or the line score down there, upper deck, right field line, or up the first base line rather. That was a seat among the many we stopped in that I thought was as good a seat as there was in the ballpark. The other one is out there in the right field bleachers.
Well, the thing about watching the ball game is, and especially for me, I watched everything from field level for so long.
What a play by Phillips. We'll get back to that. Hang on to that thought there, Cowboy. An error, a man left, middle to fifth. The Reds still lead 1-0. Face-off time for the Columbus Blue Jackets throughout September with special programs for all hockey fans. Tomorrow the Blue Jackets Slapshots crew continues their trek through Canada. So don't miss that. Tomorrow 6 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Ohio, taking you right up to Reds baseball.
From the blue line, he shoots, he scores.
You ever thought about getting into a little hockey broadcasting, maybe on a part-time basis in the off-season?
I don't know enough about it.
What about playing a little hockey? You know, maybe in an adult league, something like that.
I have thought about that. I would be the guy that takes the gloves off and fights the whole time. Since I don't know how to skate.
Yeah.
They don't let you play in tennis shoes, do they?
No. They let you play broom ball in tennis shoes. That's a fun game.
Not cowboy boots.
No, that wouldn't be good.
Whacking them over the head.
Broom ball is a cool game. For people who don't know how to skate, and there are a lot of people out there, most people don't know how to skate. At least, you know, probably in this part of the country. Up in Minnesota, you know, you grow up doing it, right? Canada. Right. But broom ball is a cool game. Kevin Mesoraco to start things here in the Reds' 5th inning. 1-0. The very first batter of the game for the Reds. Brandon Phillips homer to right center field, and that's been it for either team. Really, the Reds have not posed anything close to a threat since the first inning. After the home run, if you weren't with us, Edgar Renteria double, Joey Votto walked. The Reds had 1 in, 2 on, nobody out. Did not obviously score again. The Cubs have had 4 more threats than the Reds have had since then. They put the first 2 batters on in the first inning, had runners on the corners with 1 out. But Leake struck out Carlos Pena and got LaHare on a liner to center. Barney doubled in the 3rd, was stranded there. They left 2 on in the 4th. And there's a leadoff walk to Mesoraco here in the bottom of the 5th. That's his 2nd walk of the night, issued by Ryan Dempster.
Well, that's a bad time to put a batter aboard when you have the pitcher coming up next, and then it rolls right over to the top of the order. This is an edgy time for the right-hander Dempster. He's thrown the ball awfully well right now. But you walk number 8, they bunt him over to second base, and now you got to play with the top of the order and hope that somebody doesn't get a base hit and drive him in.
Bunted foul. Leake has 10 of them this year.
That leads the club. To me, that also tells you how far you pitch or how deep you pitch into the game is how many times you actually get to bat.
There's no doubt about it. More times than not, you can look without even looking at the pitcher's name. You just ask somebody in the same room, how many times has a guy batted this year? Pena lets it drop, and by doing so cuts down the lead runner. So there's 1 out in the inning. You know, you look at guys when Philadelphia was in town, you know, a couple of weeks ago here. You know, and you're looking at guys like Leake. I mean, Leake's closing in on, you know, he's already 165 innings. He's got 51 at bats. You know, when Halladay and Cliff Lee and those guys come into town, and that was 3 weeks ago, they had 70 or 80 at bats.
Yeah. Well, it's just the difference between pitching 5 or 6 innings every time out and pitching 7 or 8 innings every time out.
You know, for those of you wondering about something we said a little bit earlier about Brandon Phillips has never let off a game with a home run. Believe me, we're with you. That's a regular season game with a home run. You may remember last year during the playoffs in Game 2 against Roy Oswalt, Brandon Phillips hit that home run just fair down the left field line. That was a game you still look back on and you walk around and kick the tires that you didn't win that thing. You had Oswalt, you had him beat. And then on one of those nights that we did not see the entire year from the Reds on defense, they just couldn't make plays. Not to say they'd have won the series, but man, all of a sudden things get a lot more interesting 1-1.
Well,
0-2.
I think it is a learning process, just like everything else has been for this young club, and they are young. You get into the playoffs for the first time. First guy you face is Roy Halladay in his first postseason game, and he flips up a no-hitter. Well, yeah, you're intimidated. But the thing about it is Game 2 and Game 3 were winnable ball games for the Reds.
Well, especially Game 2. I mean, Game 3 was what it was. I mean, Hamels again was, I mean, he was just lights out. But then Game 2. He committed, what, 4 errors in that game?
Right. But you don't know what kind of game Hamels would have pitched had you won Game 2.
Gotcha.
And Game 3 was still a winnable game, even being down 2-0 or 0-2.
Because the Reds pitched so well in that game.
Right, because they pitched so well.
Travis Wood or Homer Bailey coming out of the bullpen. There's a swing and a miss. Johnny Cueto, the starter in that Game 3, and Bailey pitched well behind him.
Well, I think these youngsters are starting to understand.
There's ball 4 to Phillips. Second walk of the inning given up by Dempster.
And especially after last year, after the way that Philadelphia handled them so mightily, and then they got worn out in San Francisco. All you got to do is get there. If you get there, you got a chance.
Just makes you wonder, Cowboy, what does this year mean in all of that? I mean, nobody has a crystal ball. And nobody knows the Reds won't come back out next year firing on all cylinders. Another year of experience to learn and to just take off right from the start in 2012. They have so many talented young players to build this entire franchise around. A great core, not great, a very good core group of players that a lot of teams in Major League Baseball would trade you their core players for the Reds core players straight up tomorrow. Right. I mean, what have you really learned this year?
The thing about this club that I think, just by talking to some of the players, that they understand now that it's not going to get handed to you. When they won and they got into the playoffs, I think they felt like they surprised some people. Well, you're not a surprise anymore. You have to go get it now. And that includes the Cardinals. It includes the Milwaukee Club.
There's a base hit into center field by Renteria. This will bring in Mike Leake. And Renteria, perfect 3 for 3 tonight, makes it a 2-0 game in the 5th.
And I think in this year, more than anything else, this club knows that these are the kind of hits that you have to have to win ball games. It's not the home runs. It's the hits with runners in scoring position to bring the guy home from second base. Home runs are going to come. This club started out the season on fire, gangbuster. I mean, it was as good as it could get. But then the expectation, instead of taking the fight to the other team, the expectation was, okay, we're the Reds, we're the Central champs, you're just going to lay down when we come to town. No, sir. They want to beat you even worse.
And now Joey Votto with Phillips and Renteria aboard. Reds looking to add to this 2-0 lead. There's ball 1 to Votto, who was walked and bounced into a double play. Walk started this whole party. Leadoff walk to Mesoraco. He was forced out on a failed bunt attempt by Leake. But then a walk to Phillips in front of the base hit to drive in Leake by Renteria. 2-0. Joey Votto in his very young major league career. A .349 batter with runners in scoring position. 3-0. Career. He's best in all the National League this year. At .392. 3-1. But clearly he has been walked with far more frequency this year. That's why Votto is not well over 100 RBIs already this year, because of all the walks and the intentional walks and the pitch arounds, and so many times early this year. Well, the Reds had not settled on the number 4 hitters. There's ball 4 again to Votto. They were not going to let Votto beat him. So whether it was Rolen or whether it was Bruce or a host of others that have hit behind Joey Votto this year in the batting order, other teams in the league, we're going to make that guy do the damage.
Well, Joey has just gotten to the point now where his power is to all fields. It's from foul pole to foul pole. He drives the ball out of center, left, right. Base hits are the same way. And if you can't make your pitch, then you're gonna just wait for the next guy to get up there. That's what makes the 4-hole on this club even more important. That's 102 walks, and that includes tonight.
Well, one to Jay Bruce, who has struck out twice in the game. 1-1. Three for 19 this year is Jay Bruce with the bases loaded.
Fastballs away to get ahead. Breaking ball in off the plate to speed up your bat to make you pull it. Now the changeup away. If you're a pitcher, you started with a fastball. You want to make the hitter think it's a fastball, and you use the changeup. You need a strikeout bad. Both times tonight that he has struck out Jay have come on that split finger changeup. And after that last time fastball, I got to believe they're going with it again.
One and two to Jay Bruce. Bases loaded. Yep, miss a double play right here. That'll end the inning. Reds get a run. Had a chance to kick down the door, but it's a 2-0 game. Friday for a special salute to local heroes. If you arrive early for a pregame ceremony where local police departments will join Dusty Baker on the field, and one lucky police crew will win a red Toyota Tundra thanks to our local Toyota dealers. For tickets to Friday night's game, Brewers are in town. 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Two 2-0 ball game. We begin the 6th inning. And here's Carlos Pena. Again, the Reds move Edgar Renteria over to the right side of the infield. Pena hit a bullet right by Joey Votto for a base hit his last time up.
They really play him to pull here. I mean, a routine ground ball to shortstop could be a double.
First time we saw the Cubs this year in Chicago, Pena put down a bunt with 2 strikes in an at bat.
I remember.
And we were wondering, is that the first time he had ever done it? He had already done it twice earlier in the year.
Of course, that's back when he was hitting about 101.
That's about right. He hits through the shift again. My, oh my.
That should have been caught. I know the ball was hit hard, but
Votto, you may remember, felt like he should have caught the last base hit off the bat of Pena. This ball was scalded. Well, a double by Pena, his 23rd of the year. And now the tying run comes to the plate. Brian LaHair. LaHair, the most valuable player in the Pacific Coast League this season, and I'm sure he did a little bit of that. Even when you don't square it up, you find a way to get a base hit. Especially when you look at his numbers this year. He had 109 RBIs, an Iowa franchise record 38 home runs. 76 extra base hits.
Didn't quite get that one in enough. He wanted that ball in a little bit further than where it started, and that got out over the plate just a bit.
LaHair had over 300 total bases this year. You got to remember now, they've been finished for a little while playing in AAA. So to pile up over 300 total bases, man, that's doing it.
And the thing about it for LaHair, I don't care if you're 21 or 28. Hitting is hitting. And obviously this guy is a late bloomer.
Double play ball here, so the run will score. But the bases are empty. With 2 outs in the inning, no RBI for Soriano.
And I'll bet you that Joey Votto, without a doubt in my mind, believes that he should have caught that ball.
So now Marlon Byrd, the batter, is lined out to the mound and had an infield hit on a roller to the right side his last time up.
Well, you don't see too much emotion out of Mike Leake.
Tapper down to third. Inning over. Cubbies get a run back. And it's a 1-run game. swing, and now it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Can. We're told it's left in a half of a second. Contact to glove. When you were standing on the mound there, I mean, could you tell, or was that just straight? I mean, you know, survival sort of thing, and the ball catches you more than you catch it.
The ball catches you. You just happen to finish, and your glove just happens to be in that right spot, and the ball goes in your glove. Because I get more times than not, you were in a situation where when the ball is hit, you have no idea where it's at.
That's scary.
It is scary. I mean, I got hit 3 times I know of, and one of the times that I got hit, I didn't even know it until I got in the shower and I had a big burn on my back.
That one dropped into left field. A broken bat single. Second broken bat hit of the night for Alonso. By the way, that was our Coors Light Freeze Can, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Looked like a slow breaking ball that, again, Alonso gets out in front of, as he did earlier, and just fists the ball into left field for a base hit. Reds have the initial runner aboard. Now they got to do something with it.
Well, it's a 1-run ball game after the Cubs got that double by Pena to begin the top of this inning. A single by LaHair. But Leake inducing the double play ball. And there's a soft liner to short. And Castro was thinking about loading up and firing over, but Alonso heads up. Got back to the bag. Can I ask you a question I've always wondered about when it comes to a baseball uniform?
Yes.
Why in the world do baseball players, and they continue to ask baseball players to wear belts? I only bring that up because, you know, you got the metal belt buckle there. And I've talked to a number of players where, you know, a situation like that, you're diving back head first, maybe a diving play in the infield, and it actually hurts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really, those belts, obviously, they have, you know, elastic in them, but it's metal belt buckle.
Most of the belts are leather. They're not those elastic belts that you have, like, from Little League. They're like a leather belt. And you can see his belt. That's a leather belt with a big buckle on the front of it.
And some might say, well, you know, that's a ridiculous question. And I've talked to players about this because I've asked them the same thing.
Right.
I'm like, you know, why would you still have it? It's not like it's a fashion statement out there. There's a fly ball to center field. There are 2 outs in the inning.
I think it's a very fair question. And I don't really know the answer, other than the fact that there are some guys that need those belts to hold their pants up.
I understand that.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I would think that might be the only answer that there is.
Well, especially going way back when they first started wearing belts, there were a lot of guys that have legitimate boilers.
They really needed it.
They really needed it.
Yeah. But I mean, you look at a guy like Drew Stubbs. He doesn't need a belt.
No. Here's Mesoraco.
And I really believe that as time goes on, both this kid at the plate and the kid at first base, the more that they go around and see the league, the more power they are going to have in their swings. Right now, I think you're seeing Yonder Alonso making contact with balls that, if he had a pretty good idea about what Dempster had as a pitcher and had faced him more than maybe just one time, that's more of a ball that's driven down the left field line versus hit off the end of the bat. And the thing about Mesoraco, I've seen him hit balls that looked like they were about to hit him, and that's how strong he is. Just comes loose.
Tapper to short, and the short way to end the inning. So off we go to the 7th. Pitchers duel tonight. Leake and the Reds in front of Dempster and the Cubs, 2-1.
Specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2010. Was brought to you by AT&T, by Cincinnati Children's, in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2010 Best Children's Hospitals, by your Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers, and by Wendy's. You know when it's real.
Well, tonight's Mega Millions jackpot, $54 million. A drawing comes your way at 11. Still time to go get a ticket. Brought to you by the Ohio Lottery. Play tonight. All right, 2-1 ball game. 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order for Chicago, and Dempster is standing in the on-deck circle. Giovanni Soto takes a breaking ball, strike 1. Soto is struck out and bounced into a fielder's choice, ending the 4th inning, stranding a pair of runners.
Threw him a slider that broke flat on the first pitch and gets a called strike, and then throws a curveball that breaks straight down for the second strike. Just a matter of a little bit of different finger pressure, whether it be the thumb or the index finger or the middle finger for that matter.
There's a little number. Time out there for Leake. That makes a play. 1 out. Now that they let Dempster bat, they will, despite being down a run here in the 7th inning. Get inside the prep zone Saturday on FoxSportsOhio.com. Elder taking on Cleveland St. Ed's. That'll be at 7 o'clock, and Columbus Grove battles Lima Central Catholic. That's at 7:30. It's all Saturday inside the prep zone on FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. Boy, Elder took a thumping last weekend. School coming up the trail from Louisville, who I believe St. Xavier plays that same team this weekend. There's a soft liner right at Brandon Phillips, and that's all for Dempster. And there are 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
Louisville Trinity.
Is that who it was, Louisville Trinity? And I believe they play St. Xavier this weekend. Is that correct? They do. Now that will be an interesting game.
And Billy.
St. X coming off of, apparently by all accounts, a classic against Coleraine, winning over the weekend. They had a team nobody's talking much about right now. Obviously, we haven't seen them play. Get out and see them sooner or later is Moeller. They're running up 60 a night. There's a fly ball to center, and that will end the inning. 1-2-3 for Leak. A 2-1 Reds lead. Meyer 37664 right now to be entered. We wish you good luck. And there's the answer to our text poll. People believing Johnny Cueto will be the man to lead the Reds in innings pitched. I'm sure among many other categories. Well, looking ahead to next year.
I hope, looking into next year, that Mike Leake finishes this year with an ERA under 4. He started at 4. He is now at 3.90. He only has 82 pitches in the ball game, but the bottom line for Leake is going into the offseason with an ERA under 4 and a winning record in his second year in the big leagues. You're talking about having some confidence flowing for next year.
Well, Leake will bat. Low number of pitches through the front 7 innings.
Of course, if they leave him out there and he gives up a 2-run home run like he did last time, that ERA goes over 4.
1 out. Come for the Reds. Stay for more fun. Enter to win a Cincinnati USA getaway package. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com/Fox Sports. 7 strikeouts for Ryan Dempster. Here's Brandon Phillips, who's homered, struck out, and walked.
There is nothing like having quality numbers as a young player for your confidence. I can remember when it was my second year in the big leagues, and my ERA was under 2. It was like 1.5 something for the whole year. And from then on, I thought I could get anybody out.
Well, when it's 1.5 something, you were getting everybody out.
I'm just saying.
I know. I'm being facetious about it.
It didn't have to be that. I mean, it just happened to finish that way. And they actually shut me down because of where I was at. They wanted me to have that kind of ERA to close the following year.
And, you know, you really look at an example like last night. It's not to pick on Mike Quade, but for example, last night, you had a young man who made his major league debut, and man, was he impressive, in John Gall, right? He comes out in his major league debut. He faces Sapelt, Votto, and Bruce, and retires a side of Norton. Now, they run him out there for the second inning. Now, think of the difference in the way, perhaps, the mentality of that young man might have been late last night.
If you had left him
after the seventh.
Exactly.
Leave him alone.
You let him pitch his one inning, he's out of the game, run somebody else out there for the eighth.
He started the eighth inning. He walked the first batter, then allowed a double, a ground out to bring in a run. They bring in a reliever who gives up a sac fly to bring in another run. So rather than 1 inning, zeros across the board, it's 1 1/3, a hit, a walk, and 2 earned runs.
Right.
And that's how probably a guy like you, who was your manager then, Roger?
Roger Craig.
Roger Craig. I would imagine there were some games he could have left you out there for another inning.
He could have. But he knew that the biggest issue once you get to the big leagues is confidence in your own mind. Once you get that, once you develop that confidence and that inner strength about being out there, you feel like you can conquer the world. It doesn't matter if they bring you in with the bases loaded and nobody out. You feel like you're going to get the save no matter what. Highly, highly important.
2-2 on Brandon Phillips. And now full count. You know, it should be noted there are some other guys, and for different reasons all of this is done. Then you look at a guy like Greg Maddux, who when he came up in the late 1980s, Cubs made the decision, this is our guy for the future. We think he's got a chance to be one of the best pitchers in the game. He's 21 years old. We're going to run him out there 34 times, and we're going to see what happens. Well, there's ball 4 to Phillips. Now, many people forget Greg Maddux was losing 15 games with an ERA of over 5.5.
Right.
But they left him in a lot of games. Heck, I remember when I went there to broadcast with the Cubs in 1990. Greg Maddux was still not Greg Maddux yet.
Right.
It was the next year when he won his first Cy Young Award. And in 1990, he was still giving up a lot of leads late in a game.
Right.
You could hear him yell at himself from all the way up in the 3rd and 4th deck after giving up a home run in the 7th or the 8th. But they kept saying to themselves, we're going to let this guy understand what it means to start a game and to get out of trouble and to finish a game.
Right.
So, Cowboy, the question I have to you is, times have changed a lot in the last 20 years since Greg Maddux came up to the major leagues. The way they're watching pitch counts, they're so concerned about the confidence of a young pitcher.
Right.
Where is that fine line? You're talking about a guy like Lee.
Right.
He goes out there and goes 1, 2, 3 in the 8th inning. And now all of a sudden you come to the 9th and it's let's say it's a 2-1 ball game.
Right.
I mean, where is that fine line of saying, you know what, I'm going to give this chance to go finish a game right now, or I'm going to take him out for all those reasons you just mentioned a moment ago, and I'm going to let Cordero come in and nail this thing down for him.
Right. Well, the way the game works now is you give up a run early in the ball game. If it's a save situation at the end of the game, it's the closer's game.
That one thrown in the dirt, and Phillips is going to go into scoring position.
The majority of the time, unless your bullpen is just horrible, the majority of the time, if you have a very good closer, as the Reds do in Cordero, if it's a save situation, it's his game. No questions asked. Doesn't matter who's out there. Be Roy Halladay. Doesn't matter. And that's just how far the game has come, because when Maddux was a youngster, you were expected to finish what you started, and that's the way they treated you. You went out there and they didn't say, okay, well, you've got 100 pitches here in the 6th inning. They said, you got 3 more innings, kid. You better start getting your pitch count down, or your arm's going to be real sore tomorrow. Boy, this would be an awfully big insurance run for the Reds right here.
Renteria's had a good night. 3 for 3, a double, a single, knocked in a run with his third hit back in the 5th inning. We have Sean Marshall ready in the bullpen. You have Votto and Bruce and then Alonso. So this may very well be the final batter of the night for Ryan Dempster. His next pitch is his 119th pitch of this game. And it'll be the first time he retires Renteria all night. 2 out. Tagging and advancing on to third is Brandon Phillips. All right, now the question I guess I would have for you, Cowboy. Mike Whitey has not come out of the dugout. Well, Votto's 0 for 1, but they've walked him twice. Dempster has really had his way with Jay Bruce, but of course Bruce is a left-handed batter. You stay with Dempster here?
Well, the reason that he is staying with Dempster is to give him an opportunity to get to that 11th win, which would put him at 500 on the year. That's the issue at stake here. If the run scores from third base, the lefty's coming in, but he's giving Dempster an opportunity to get an out here.
You just wonder if Votto's going to get anything to hit. Walked him in the first. Got him to bounce into a double play in the third. Then they walked him to load the bases for Jay Bruce in the 5th. And Bruce bounced into a double play to end the inning. Two and 0. Clearly, they're not giving Votto any strikes in this at bat. The question just becomes then, if they do walk Votto, and this looks like one of those unintentional, intentional walks, do they go ahead and allow Dempster to face Bruce? Or do they bring on Marshall?
He's got a lot of pitches. And I'm not sure where Dempster is right now. He may not be real happy with the way that the issue is as far as pitching around Votto.
Well, Soto is looking in that dugout as if to say, why don't we just stick the left hand out? And there's ball 4. Mike Whitey is standing right there on the top step of the dugout. Or I beg your pardon, he is taking a seat back in the dugout. This is the highest pitch total of the year for Ryan Dempster. That's Pat Listash, the bench coach, actually standing over on the top step in front of Mike Whitey.
You just have to wonder if, I mean, I just think that the plan from the beginning was to give him an opportunity to get the 11th win. You're only one batter away from it to give him that chance. And now it's up to Dempster to get it done.
Well, Jay 0 for 3 tonight, struck out swinging in the first and again in the 4th, and he bounced into that double play with the bases juiced in the 5th. And it's a strike on the inside corner.
But I think that you're in a situation with Dempster that is totally different than the situation for Mike Leake.
Got away with one there.
Yeah, he did. You're trying to stick with a veteran pitcher who's earned your respect from how he threw the ball last year to get to 500. And then on the flip side, in the Reds dugout, you're trying to protect your future. Not only physically, but mentally as well.
To Jay Bruce, trying to stretch the lead. It's 2-1 Reds, batting here in the last of the 7th inning.
A big insurance run for the Reds at third base and Brandon Phillips.
Game. We go to the 8th. Coors Light cold hard blast. Brandon leading off the game.
Didn't really know how big that blast was going to be at the time. Obviously, it has been a monster one at this point.
So here we go for Mike Leake. There is action down in the Reds bullpen. Reds with a 2-1 lead, 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. Barney has 2 hits. Pena, due up third in the inning, has 2 hits. Nice pickup by Francisco to the glove side. That's a big out.
That's a big play. That play looked easy. It was much harder than he made it look. This ball has got top spin, and you could see how quickly that ball hit the dirt and came up. A lot of spin on that ball, but yet Francisco made it look nice and easy and a perfect throw to first base.
Now Ramos Ramirez down strike one. Doesn't Francisco just look so much more comfortable this year down there at third base?
Well, I think a lot
last year.
I think a lot of it has to do with starting the year in the big leagues. He makes the club out of spring training and would have been the third baseman in the event when Roland got hurt. Had he not gotten hurt at the same time, his luck has not been real good this year.
No.
But I think he's put in a tremendous amount of work And I think there's been a lot more communication from Dusty and from the front office as to what they expect from him.
Look at that play. Now make a throw. Do it, son. Very nice. Another big play by Juan Francisco in this one-run game here in the 8th inning.
Not going to see too many that are as good or better than that, especially when you roll over the top of it and you got to find it and then throw a bullet from the opposite side of the field. Big time play.
Lady Luck on his side a little bit too there now.
Yeah.
All right, now Pena. League trying to get through this 8th inning in 1-2-3 fashion. Pena more than capable of tying the game with one swing of the bat. And there's a breaking ball, strike one. Pena has 27 home runs, the Cubs leader.
And already has 2 hits on the night. Both right by the glove of Joey Votto.
Oh, and 1 to Pena. And that one is high. The Reds have Logan Ondrusek, the right-hander. Left-hander Bill Bray ready in the bullpen. Mike Leake making his final start in his 2011 season.
And there is nothing but home run on Pena's mind. And if you're Mike Leake, you have to know that. In this situation, the only thing he's trying to do is hit the ball out of the ballpark. And the same thing goes for the guy that stands on deck, Brian LaHare.
Don't you think they give Leake this batter, and if Pena were to reach, forget about hitting the ball in the seats, but if Pena were to reach,
you got to take him out.
Yeah.
Number one, you never give your starter a chance to lose the game after the 6th inning. In a quality ball game, I'm talking about.
2-1 now to Pena. Struck him out the first time to the league. He singled and doubled down the line his last time up. That ball hit hard, but Bruce is there. And Mike Leake pounds the mitt with his right hand. 8 innings of 6-hit, 1-run baseball. Will that be all? We'll know shortly. Game in the 8th inning. Outs are so precious. And Francisco, a couple of nice plays to begin that 8th inning.
That was a slingshot right there, baby. With a little on it.
Johnny Bench night Saturday night right here at Great American Ballpark. Join the Reds in honoring the legendary catcher. They'll unveil the bronze statue outside of the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum at 5 o'clock. Soft liner caught by the second baseman Barney. 1 pitch, 1 out. And then all the pregame ceremony will begin at 6:30, including a first pitch by the Hall of Famer himself. 513-381-REDS, or visit Reds.com for tickets to Johnny Bench night this Saturday night. Sean Marshall takes over on the mound for Ryan Dempster, who allowed only 2 runs in 7 innings. That's tough luck pitching there, Cowboy, but we see that a lot over the course of a year, don't we?
Well, I would imagine that the Reds have seen a lot more tough luck pitching than most this year.
Stubbs out of there on strikes.
It is a nasty curveball right there.
This guy's good. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there, but there can't be many left-handers in all of baseball, left-handed setup guys, that have had a better year than this guy.
Well, you can see sort of pounding the ground with his mitt before he drops that thing in there.
Oh. It's funny, isn't it, though, how a guy goes. Remember about this time, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago, Marshall was in their rotation. You'd see flashes of this where he'd go 1, 2, 3 in an inning with breaking balls and 92-mile-an-hour fastballs, and you're going, man, this guy's got a chance. Then all of a sudden, next inning, he'll come out, walk a couple guys, give up a couple of hits. Next thing you know, he's going 4 or 5 innings, giving up 4 or 5 runs, and he's out of the game.
It's because his second pitch is not a strike pitch. That pitch that he just threw right there for a strike, that is one of the lowest percentage pitches in the game. That big sweeping curve to throw for a strike.
That one muscled by Francisco short of the track. All right, here we go. 9th inning. Will it be Leak? Will it be Coco?
Coco.
Nissan drive of the game. Reds had a 1-0 lead at the time, and Edgar Renteria with a base hit to drive in Mike Leake to give the Reds a 2-0 lead. Chicago scored its only run off Mike Leake in the 6th inning. So 2-1 our score. We asked the question before we went to break as to who would be on the mound. Well, this is part of a double switch, so that should answer your question. Chris Heisey is now in left and gunning for save number 33 in his 38th chance, the closer Francisco Cordero.
Now, if this was a situation where Mike Leake had a 2-0 lead or even a 1-0 lead, you would have Leake most likely would be on the mound because of his pitch count. It's been down. Cordero would be warming up in the bullpen, getting ready in case Leake allowed a runner to reach. That's my opinion. Of course, some managers do it totally different.
Well, some tough outs here in the Chicago ninth. LaHair, Soriano, and Marlon Byrd. Each team with 6 hits, each team with an error. Cubs have left 6, the Reds have left 8. Strike 1 to LaHair. We mentioned the AAA Pacific Coast League most valuable player. He's got big time power. And 38 home runs. Well, this is a number down to Votto. He'll take it himself. 1 out in the ninth. Well, this Saturday we told you is Johnny Bench night. And don't forget, if you're one of the first 40,000 fans through the gate, you get a 2011 team photo thanks to Orville Redenbacher. So a lot going on Saturday night.
Well, this guy too can hit the ball out of the ballpark. They're not out of the woods yet.
Soriano 0 for 2 in the game has also drawn a walk. Mike Leake, 8 innings of 6-hit, 1-run baseball. Walked 2 batters, struck out 2 batters. Boy, he was so good. And oftentimes it's getting out of that first jam of the night. First inning, Cubs had runners on the corners with only 1 out. In fact, they had 2 on with nobody out. But with Castro standing at third, it was Carlos Pena the batter. Leake struck him out. Got LaHair on a line out to Stubbs in center. As it's 2-2 on Soriano. He worked out of a 2-on jam in the 4th inning. A double and a single started the 6th. But he got a double play ball off the bat of this guy, Soriano. That's probably the biggest batter of the night along with Pena. Straight up, this is out number 2.
After every Reds game, stay with Fox Sports Ohio for Reds Live. Get complete highlights and full interviews from the stars of the game and manager Dusty Baker. That's Reds Live post-game, brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com.
Strike 1 to Marlon Byrd.
This is where you got to bring it home, right here.
Strike away from bringing it home.
And you can see the swings there, Tom. There's not a whole lot of upper body that's going out to that outside corner to reach that breaking ball.
Cordero this year has 19 saves in which he retired every batter he faced. Only Mariano Rivera, Kimbrel, and Santos have more. And he's just tied Santos with 20 of them. Reds win 2-1. And what a way to cap off the 2011 year for Mike Leake. Leake springs from the dugout, and why not? The way this kid pitched, getting a big hug from his pitching coach Brian Price, handshakes from coaches and teammates, knowing that his year will end at 12-9 Cowboy with an ERA that starts with a number 3.
Well, I don't know that you can get it much better than a finish than what you got with Mike Leake. He took it by the horns in his last start against a team that really broke his heart in the last start. And redemption is awfully sweet sometimes.
Beautifully done indeed by the youngster Mike Leake. Now, next year, he won't be shutting down on September the 13th.
Now he'll be rolling on, looking for the big 2-0.
2-1 our final. We're back with a lot more on Fox Sports Ohio.